Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Book of Knowledge. Today we're going to talk about something truly groundbreaking. I'm going to show you a secret about history that all the experts and scholars in the field are completely missing. This is the simple answer to one of the greatest mysteries about ancient civilizations, and it all stems from the knowledge that at the base of all religions is the discovery of the cycles of time. In the beginning of the Old Testament, as well as in many of the older religious texts from all over the world, you find people living for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of years. It is usually just stated as fact without any explanation and ignored as if it was not ridiculous nonsense. Most people just blow this off as myths and legends, but when you look closely, you can see the evolution of human knowledge and the understanding of time itself. The Sumerian King Lists are ancient artifacts, the oldest of which dates back to before 2100 BC and was found in the city of Ur. These lists were said to be a complete history of all the kings that ruled throughout ancient Mesopotamia, with the cities that they ruled, as well as the length of time that they ruled. The problem is that the experts and historians could not tell which of these kings were actual kings who ruled over cities and which were religious characters, myths, or legends. The first 8 kings on the list ruled for nearly 20,000 years to almost 45,000 years each. These first 8 names are followed by an inscription that reads, "Then the flood swept over." The next 28 kings on the list have reigns that last for hundreds of years each, with the shortest reign being 100 years and the longest being 1,500 years. The last of these 28 kings was Gilgamesh, the king of Uruk, who was the hero of one of the oldest stories ever discovered, the Epic of Gilgamesh. His rule was a very short 126 years. Immediately after Gilgamesh, the length of the rule of kings dropped drastically again, with most of the kings ruling for between 8 and 60 years each. Most experts and scholars believed that this is when the kings on the list stopped being gods, myths, and legends and became actual kings who existed in reality. However, there are experts who claim that there is actual proof of the existence of kings on the list who are said to have reigned for up to 900 years. Somewhere along the line in the development of human understanding, 2 different counting systems emerged. It is likely that they both predate any civilizations because people were surely counting things long before there was agriculture. The first system is a base 10 system, used in ancient Egyptian, Hindu Arabic, and Chinese cultures. In a base 10 system, everything is counted in groups of 10. Even the numbers that we use today are grouped into tens. There are 10 numbers, 0 through 9, that make up all existing numbers. There are 10 20s, 10 30s, 10 40s, and so on. 10 tens is 100, 10 hundreds is 1,000, and so on again. This is the origins of the decimal system, as the word root des means 10. This is also the origins of the metric system. This system is most likely the oldest, and it simply originates from counting on the fingers of your hands. Because you can keep track of 10 things on your fingers, you can then group things into multiples of 10. This is also the origins of tally marks, and eventually Roman numerals. The ancient Sumerians used the other system, based on the numbers 12 and 60. If you look at your fingers, you can see they are divided into 3 sections where they bend at the knuckles. If you use your thumb to count the 3 sections of the 4 fingers on that hand, you get 12. If you use the 5 fingers on your other hand to keep track of how many times you have counted to 12, then you can count up to 60. This is the origins of the British imperial counting system. This is where we get 12 inches in a foot, or 12 eggs in a dozen. This is also where we get 60 seconds in a minute, and 60 minutes in an hour. So a minute is a length of time, measured by touching your thumb to each section of your 4 fingers and doing that 5 times. Besides day and night, a minute is probably the oldest understanding of a length of time. This counting system is one of the oldest forms of multiplication. There are very old Sumerian tablets written in cuneiform that are known to be multiplication tables. Now we have people who could count minutes and days and can also multiply. With this in mind, let's take another look at these sacred numbers. Of the first 8 kings who were said to have ruled before the flood, 3 of these kings ruled for 28,800 years each. 2 of them ruled for 36,000 years each. 1 king ruled for 43,200 years, and the remaining 2 kings reigned for 21,000 years and 18,600 years. If the only 2 cycles of time that you counted were minutes and days, you would see that there are 28,800 minutes in exactly 20 days. There are 36,000 minutes in exactly 25 days, and there are exactly 43,200 minutes in 30 days. Many sacred numbers that appear frequently in religious texts can be understood as cycles or lengths of time that reveal themselves when they are considered to be minutes. The number 144,000 appears over and over in all religious texts. In Christianity, 144,000 people will be raptured. If you consider that 144,000 to be minutes, then you have exactly 100 days. It is also important to remember here that the ancient year had 10 months, ending with December as the 10th month, and the word root des means 10. However, the modern year still ends with December, but now is the 12th month. Again, we see that even the year has been counted or divided by both of the 2 different counting systems. Now we can look at the remaining 2 kings from the first 8 kings on the list. One lived for 21,000 years, and one lived for 18,600 years. If you count these numbers in minutes, you won't get an even number of days. 21,000 minutes is 14 and a half days. 18,600 minutes is 12.9 days. Now we've talked about the first 5 kings living for 28,800 minutes, which equals 20 days. 36,000 minutes equals 25 days, and 43,200 minutes, that equals 30 days. These are counting days in minutes, up to 30, most likely trying to figure out how many minutes are in a month or a moon cycle. So these first 3 numbers are counting sun cycles or days to see how many minutes it takes to get to a moon cycle. The last 2 kings in the first 8 kings are counting moon cycles. 21,000 minutes is 14 and a half days. 14 and a half days is how long it takes to get from a new moon to a full moon, and another 14 and a half days to get from the full moon back to the new moon. 18,600 minutes is 12.9 days. 12.9 is the number of full moons in a year. Now that we've established that 3 of these numbers are counting days or sun cycles, and 2 of these numbers are counting nights or moon cycles, now we can separate the 2 and look only at the numbers counting day cycles. 3 of these kings ruled for 28,800 years. 2 of these kings ruled for 36,000 years. And 1 king ruled for 43,200 years. If we break those down as minutes, counting days, that's 3 at 20 days, 2 at 25 days, and 3 at 30 days. If we add those numbers, 30 plus 20 plus 25, we get 75. Now we've already counted minutes into months, and now we're going to count months into seasons. Because there's 4 seasons, we multiply 75 times 4, and we get 300. But there's still 3 kings left on the list. 2 of those kings ruled for 28,800 years, or 20 days, and 1 of them ruled for 36,000 years, or 25 days. So if we add 20 plus 20 plus 25 to 300, we get 365, or the number of days in the solar year. At the very core of religion as a concept is time, the passing of time, and the cycles of time. It is primarily about the discovery of the year, the Earth's journey around the sun, and the sun's path through the constellations of the zodiac. If these stories are about the discovery of the year, then it would make sense that a person could not be 25 years old if they did not have a way to track or even have a concept of a solar year. The original Israelites worshipped the father god Yahweh as a moon god who lived on top of Mount Sinai, named after the Babylonian father moon god Sin, also known as Nana. With all of this in perspective, it becomes clear that before people understood the concept of the solar year, they counted their age by moon cycles. There are just over 12 moon cycles in a year, so if you simply divide by 12, you can convert the age in months to the age in years. With this understanding, we can examine the Sumerian King List and see some other interesting things. First of all, you can see the actual time in history when the yearly cycle was discovered and understood. Secondly, you can see that after the yearly cycle was discovered and the rule of kings went from hundreds of years to tens of years, there were clusters of time when a string of kings ruled for hundreds of years again. After a few rulers, it would switch back again, and this happens a few times until the 100-year rulers no longer exist. The interesting thing about reading the Sumerian King List is that by noting the length of the reign of the kings, you can see ancient Mesopotamia's political battles for power and control play out between the moon worshippers of Nana or Sin and the sun worshippers of Anu and Enki, pointing out again that Anu is the root of the word annual, meaning yearly. Alright, that's the end of another one. Hit the buttons, do the things, like, subscribe, most importantly, share. If you like this information, you can go to my old channel. The link is in the description. There's lots more information over there. You can support me on Patreon, but most importantly, come back for more. You gotta watch all the videos to understand what I'm talking about. So with that, I'm outie.